holds most people back is outsourcing and delegation. And I'm going to give you the exact blueprint that my business partner Daniel and I use to actually grow and scale all of our brands and do it with a team that increases the actual value of our company. So first off, this is our office in the Philippines. I did some awesome Photoshop work on the top to take off the name of the building. But we own this entire, or we're leasing this entire office. We can hold about 450 people inside this. And right now, we have a team of about 50 that are both in the office and remote, but we are scaling fast, and we believe that about in the next year and a half, we'll be able to fill this entire building for our e-commerce business. This is part of our team here. It's Daniel in the middle, my business partner. Some of you may know him, and this is part of the operation there. We do a lot of group activities. One of the things that I really encourage you guys, part of the problem with outsourcing to the Philippines or China is so many people don't engage with their actual team members. They look at them like commodities, and they'll just hire somebody, don't like the job they do, and fire them. Or they don't like how they're communicating with them. We really believe in investing in our employees. We take them on all kinds of little excursions, just do, cookout type things. I really just believe in taking care of them, and the feedback that we get is incredible because people are so loyal and want to work for us, because they just believe that we're going to be around for a long time. And that's the other problem is so many people, they don't have that stable income. And you guys are all learning to build long-term, slow-growth businesses that Ezra talked about. And if you do that right, you can have your team really be loyal and stay with you for a very, very long time. So this is part of the team. This is from China when we were visiting factories. We have a team in China as well. For us, one of the biggest pain points was being able to source more products and not be involved in the process. And we're growing, more and more brands, and each brand we're releasing roughly 5 to 20 products, and we have a team that is in place to basically source majority of those products up front so that we can start to scale much, much easier. So let's dig into how exactly to outsource your e-commerce business. So first, I'm going to give you these in just kind of step-by-step order, but as Ezra just talked about, mindset is incredibly important, and we think you need to have an actual outsourcing mindset, and it really revolves around 2 main things, abundance and delegation. And for a lot of people, you need to start small. You just kind of get the wheels moving so that you can get used to the fact of letting go. How many of you are like me and an absolute control freak and just do not want to let go of anything? Okay, so only like 5 people. Sweet. So this should be very, very easy for you guys to do. And I'm going to give you guys a challenge for the next 36 hours as well for delegation, what we'll talk about here in a second. So for abundance, we believe in outsourcing. You have to believe that there's an incredible amount of opportunity out there. There's more than anyone in this room and all of us could ever take advantage of. So we want to have no fear. We don't want to have any lack. We just want to be able to give, and whether that be to our brands, to our employees, just kind of to the overall e-commerce marketplace in general. And we want to avoid thinking about competition and being afraid of, what is your competition going to do, being perfect. In our office, we really believe in kind of a open community where we don't really like people talk about negative type stuff. We want them to always be positive. How can you change this? What needs to be tracked? There's pushing forward in a positive way. And if you don't have this mindset, we really believe that you're going to struggle with these 2 things. You're going to struggle with hiring and delegating because you're going to hesitate. You're always going to question what you're doing, and you don't want to be doing that. And then also, if you have that fear of delegation, it's going to limit your ability to actually grow. And just think of what you could do in your business if you had 50 people working for you for your actual business. I mean, obviously, you could do maybe 50 times more things, or more than that. We find that it actually becomes more exponential because you have community and teams working together to collaborate, and they come up with so many different things that Daniel and I would have never thought of. We actually have them go through training, create processes, and teach us. And that does a really, really big thing for the confidence of your team, but also for what they can accomplish. So delegation, delegate everything simple and easy, just to get it started. Anything that's maybe repetitive, checking stats, calling customers, whatever you do, anything that's repetitive, start delegating that right away. Believe and know that other people can do these things, and most of the time, they can do them way better than you. This was a very big kind of problem for me because I thought I could do everything great, and I thought I was so good, and really I kind of just suck at everything. But I'm pretty good at managing the team. So, just know that they can do it better than you a lot of times. And also, when you're hiring, look for people that are better than you. Richard Branson, one of the things that he's famous for, every time he starts a new company, and the reason he can be so successful, is he looks for people that are absolutely the best that he can find in that field. He puts them in charge of that company and lets them run it. Do the same thing when you're hiring employees. You guys are running a real business, and if you want to run a 7, 8, 9-figure business, that's what you need to be thinking about. Don't just try and find someone that's cheap. Think about long-term right from the start. It's going to save you so much money. And then also, remember, things don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be your way. Just make sure that they're moving forward. Obviously, we'll talk about how to basically, approve and reject things, but it's important that you just keep moving forward. So have this delegation mindset. Everything you do, this is kind of maybe controversial, but we believe everything that you do should be done by someone else. We'll talk about exactly at the end because we always get what should I be focused on then. But we believe pretty much everything you do should be done by someone else. And it's kind of hard to swallow, but it's needed to really grow your business. Remember that Richard Branson example I just gave you? He hires the best, lets them run the entire company, kind of steps out of it. Delegate everything. So start within 24 hours. I'm really going to challenge all of you guys, and Daniel and I want to. So if anyone wants to email me Monday morning, tell me what you delegated and how it made you feel, if it made you feel uncomfortable. My email address is just ryan@ryananddaniel.com. The 5 people that take the most action will PayPal you $100 each Monday morning. So be sure to start delegating now. It's also about liberating you so that your business actually runs better. How many of you guys started this business to have lifestyle? You want to actually be able to do things, go out and experience things. This is going to liberate you to actually be able to do what you want to do. I love running our e-commerce business, but also there's so many things that I want to do and travel the world and people I want to meet and see. So how do you start outsourcing right now? These are the steps. So 1, you need to build your processes. You need to understand what processes need to be built so that your business can actually function. Set up in your delegation machine. This is going to be all of the tools. Create your team. Start the actual engine. This is training and orientation. Run the engine, and expand the engine. We'll dig into each one of these. So building your processes, you need to decide what processes you actually have. Define and then break down those processes. So what is your email process? Clay talked about building lead pages. Kurt talked about Facebook, all of those processes. That would be included in your processes. We break these down to 4 types. We have 4 different sheets that we use. We use brand sheets, product sheets. We use project sheets, and then task sheets. And each one of these is set up this is kind of how they're set up. So the brand sheet is for setting up of to-dos. These are action items. The product sheet is product to-dos, projects. Then the project sheet is tasks. This is individual tasks that someone will do to complete that. And then the task sheet in and of itself is a step-by-step what needs to be done to actually complete the task. And usually that's either video or a PDF that is screenshotted all the way through. This is what it looks like for our team in corresponding position as well. So the brand, that's run by kind of the CEO, us, high-level thinking, planning. Product, that's run by the lead product manager or a brand manager, which I'll talk about what that is. Project, this is run by our actual manager. And then all the individual tasks, these are our agents or our kind of lower-level employees. This is our structure of our company. This is exactly how we set everything up so that we can grow and scale. At the top, we have all of our different brands. Each brand will have individual products. So we might have 30 brands. Those are all handled by CEO, so Daniel and I. And then underneath that, we have our brand managers. These are people who are actually in charge of our particular brand. Think of them as a lead project manager, but only for a brand. They report to the actual lead project manager, and then that lead project manager manages a special team, which is some of the people on that team over there. And then you see the brand manager has 2 kind of staff-type employees. We have an EPE, which stands for external promotion, engine, and that is all promotion. Think Facebook ads, any type of thing that is driving traffic. Then they also have support, internal promotions. So we build a lot of funnels, which everyone's been talking about today and yesterday. We build a lot of funnels that support our e-commerce business on the back end, so we have entire staff that manages each step of the way for that. And you can see with inside here, the only person that Daniel and I ever talk to really is the lead project manager. So it's their job to pretty much run everything, and they're reporting to the main brand manager, who's kind of the managerial level of their staff, and they get all the details, and then they report it back to us. This allows the company, if we are gone or unable to do some things, to really run. And my partner had a little potential scare with dengue fever recently, so he wasn't really able to do very much. So the business is continuing to run without him as well. And then up on the side, it's a little bit separate. We have a GM, hiring manager. We have a finance department. We have 2 accountants. Obviously, Brad talked about a little bit yesterday where you're buying lots of inventory. If you guys don't have an accountant that's helping you manage inventory and helping you just track your finances, get that immediately. It is absolutely critical to know where your money is and what you can spend money on and where it's going. So set up your delegation machine. These are the tools that we use to set up this delegation machine. We focus on Basecamp, which is just project management. We use Time Doctor to track all of their time. For our remote employees we still have some that are inside Basecamp that don't work for us, Odesk that don't work for us full time. We track their time there. Google Apps and Google Drive, Dropbox or Mega if you want something more secure. HipChat, something similar to Skype. We prefer HipChat simply because it's internal. There's no distractions for them from the outside world. So how to actually set Basecamp up? We organize everything in steps and projects. So we may have brand A dash Amazon listing, brand A dash Facebook advertising. Everything is broken down, and we add all the relevant people for that project. The actual lead project manager does all of this. They add all the relevant people to that project for that brand. They create all the to-dos right out of that first process sheet and add all the tasks. They assign everything out, and then everything just starts getting completed. As the Basecamp gives you a daily recap of everything that's being done, so I can actually log into my account and see either picture view or just kind of a list of everything that's been done for the day, so you can get a once-over to make sure everything's getting done as it needs to be. Time Doctor, really simple. They just simply install it. It enables you to take frequent screenshots. The most important thing is we use it to track the productivity per brand. Because we have so many brands, we want to know what exactly is making us money and what is costing us money. So if we have brand A and we have 1,000 hours of employee time that month, but we only made $1,000, we just lost a lot of money. If we have brand C, they only spent 100 hours, but we made $100,000, we made a lot of profit on that. How do we dump more time into brand C, take away from brand A? Is that making sense? Okay. Google Apps, it's a very easy way to set up your kind of emails. All the emails that we have are support at domain, just like Kurt was saying, it's really important to use a real email address. We have all of our employees on there. They just sign up for Basecamp, and we use that to sign up for Basecamp, and then also Time Doctor. Google Drive, again, I prefer Mega just because it's more secure, but Google Drive is a great place to also back up everything, and then HipChat there. So creating your team, you need to do a few things first when you're getting ready to create your actual team. It's important to define the people that you need. And I think one of the biggest hurdles, as you guys can see, we have kind of a more of an elaborate operation. We spent a lot of time developing this, but it didn't start out like this. Daniel and I both started separately, and we hired one person, and we taught that person everything. And we used that person to then start to build upon and grow the team. And I'd encourage you to do the same thing, because a lot of times people are scared of outsourcing because they think it's going to take too much time, they think it's going to be too much effort, or they think that they're just going to fail at it, or they're not going to share what am I going to get that person to do all the time? So if you plan that kind of ahead of time, it's going to be really important. English to us is the #1 skill. We do put everyone through an IQ test. They actually have to go see a psychologist before they work for us. We have tons of tests and everything that we make them go through to kind of jump through hurdles. But we think English is the absolute #1 skill because we actually teach them everything that they need to go through. We have an onboarding orientation process. They sit in the conference room, they work with a manager and learn everything that they need to be doing, and they start slowly to implement it, working with someone who already knows. And we feel like that helps us to actually increase our success rate of our employees because they're not just being thrown in and not really understanding what happens. And you can do this remotely as well, and you'll be most likely doing this yourself to start, but it is really, really important that you focus on that. And here's some places that you can find people. Job sites like Odesk, onlinejobs.ph, JobStreet. We do like to actually hire people where our office is, but we do have some specific tasks that are remote still. The Philippines, for us, we love the Philippines. We think it's a great place. The people are fantastic. The culture is amazing. The labor, you can get really high quality, college graduates for very inexpensively. You also can get people that have MBAs, and we have our main accountant is from a really, really large company, and we pay them less than $1,000 a month for our accounting, which is pretty awesome. Here's some of the main team roles that you can think about hiring, and executive assistant, customer service agent, customer relations manager, someone that's going to do promotions, writer, social media manager, accountant, graphic designer, programmer, anyone that is a specialist in any type of external promotion, whether that be Facebook ads, whether that be AdWords, Bing, something like that. We think these are important roles, but again, start with where you are, and we believe working with one main person to start. The hardest thing to do is to get the processes out on paper or to get them out online so that you can really implement them to grow your business. Then you start the engine, so you create the team training, the process training, process sheets, and sometimes video. What we did when starting this, all we did is we started to teach our lead project manager type person, and we had them do this entire thing for us. So that way, it's actually coming from the person that the team would be reporting to, as opposed to just us. I think that's a very, very key point in that they can communicate and interact with that person, from a cultural level and they're around that person a lot more than they're around us. This is really, really important to us. And this should say run the engine. This is basically managing the projects. Every update, you get in a specific email. Your Basecamp sends everything through email. You can turn off notifications and view everything online, but it really allows us to manage the team. And we create something called the team room, and this is just simply where people can kind of interact. It's almost like a little water cooler thing. They post pictures together, they talk about whoever's birthday it is, and then they'll let someone know at the office, like the office manager, we need to get a birthday cake for so-and-so, and all that's done in the team room. And it creates a community, but it also stops people from interrupting everyone all the time when they need something. So if someone's coming in to let them know it's this person's birthday, let's get them a party, set up a party, they just send it they put it in the team room, and the manager will actually set everything up for them. So then expanding the engine, this is basically, when you're going to add a process, you're going to add something, you really want to look at your initial brand and realize that everything is actually running well. I think a lot of times in e-commerce too, people start adding products and adding brands before their business is really systematized, and it starts to become very just disorganized, and they're not really focused on any one specific thing, and it's kind of gets stagnant. The same thing can happen with outsourcing. If you're trying to add processes, like, I want to start doing Facebook ads, or I want to start doing AdWords, if all your other processes are not running properly, you can't start adding new processes yet. So make sure everything is current, it's running well, it's a well-oiled machine, and you can really, really, then start to expand. So when to hire and how. Our current team, we only hire, and the brand managers will tell us, and then the lead project manager will tell us when they need new people for that particular brand. And sometimes it happens quickly, so we keep a reserve of people that are available for particular types of tasks that are going to scale, customer service, maybe a writer or something like that. Because you never know, with Amazon, your first month might be sell $10,000 in units. And then the next month, you might sell 100,000. Well, if our brand just 10x'd, we need more people to support that. So it's important to kind of be prepared, but don't do it too soon. We believe that our employees can do a lot more than we think they can, and we don't want to stress them out, obviously, and overwhelm them, but we also want to make sure that they stay productive and are really focused. That's why we have them on specific brands. The manager's the main guy. So again, we're talking to only one person as much as possible. We're actually building in redundancies now to everything. We're adding a lead project manager in the United States, as well as some brand managers. They're going to be reporting to everybody, and then I'll specifically communicate to the U.S. team, and Daniel specifically communicate to the Filipino team. But it's important to really just try and, you don't want to be distracted all the time. If you're talking to the entire team, there's no way you're going to ever be getting anything done. And don't try and grow too quickly. You have to know your limits. We all want to hit whatever our goal is, but you need to actually take time, have that slow growth process, just as Ezra discussed. It's really, really critical in outsourcing because obviously all of this costs money to run. If you get ahead of yourself, you're going to have a lot of cash going out, and then all of a sudden that fear of lack is going to start to creep up. You're going to doubt, you're going to hesitate, and you're just not going to be able to continue to move forward. So here's kind of our most common question that when we tell people we set things up this way is, what should be focused on in your business? We're not 100% here yet, but we're very, very close. But we really believe that as the business owner, we want to treat our business like a Fortune 500 company, and we believe that Daniel and I's responsibility is high-level planning, goals, and vision. We kind of are involved in the reviewing and approving and rejecting processes, and this has to do with like specific maybe design or specific areas that are very, very important. So we'll review and approve that stuff, but we spend a lot of time just on phone calls, building relationships with suppliers. We'll actually go to factories all the time, work out terms. We actually strive to set actual physical written agreements with every supplier that we have, and we try and encourage them to give us priority on any sourcing. So if we need 10,000 units in a week, they'll stop all orders from everyone else, source our product, and then go back to the other people. So we really focus on doing that, and that takes time to build those relationships. Learning, we spend a lot of time investing in learning, going to events like this, traveling around the world to all different things. Daniel's actually at an event in Chicago right now. And then things that you love to do. I think building a business you should focus on the things that you love. I love paid traffic. There's some things that I'm not great at, like Facebook, which I've had Kurt help me with. So I appreciate that, Kurt. And he's definitely awesome. He's actually helped me with a campaign that made over $100,000 profit about end of last year. So very, very cool. But this is what we believe you should really focus on. And I think it's important to realize that you do want to be the director. You're not having to do everything yourself. And obviously, this can change for every single person. This is our philosophy. You know, someone mentioned that you should question everything. You should question everything and do what's right for you. For us, this is what works. And yeah. So what you should do right now, hire your main person. Try and do that as soon as possible. Take them through a vetting process. When you're hiring somebody, get on Skype with them. If you're hiring them remotely, get on Skype, talk to them, get to know them, know where they're from, know their story, build an actual relationship with this person. They're going to be actually critical for you to grow. And most likely, this main person will turn into your lead project manager. So have that in the thought, kind of in the back of your mind as you're getting ready to set up. This person actually could be in the United States, could be in the Philippines, wherever you want. But if you're going to grow a larger operation in one place, they should be the same culture of that person. We found this out, and we had someone that was from north of Manila and then someone that was in Manila for our project manager. They actually spoke a completely different dialect of the native language in the Philippines, and they had a very, very difficult time interacting with the staff. So we had to remove them from that position and bring someone else in. So that's important. So teach them everything one by one that you know and that your business needs to do. Have them create all the process and task sheets for you. You don't want to do kind of this work yourself. You want to see, you should know these processes and everything, but you want to see how this person can actually do this. And then you also want to have them do absolutely everything that they possibly can. And this could be, you know, from setting up your Amazon listings, dealing with other people, all that stuff they should do. And have them hire and train your team. So as I mentioned, when we hire new people, our managers and stuff will actually train everyone and have them manage the team and processes, and then keep going and just keep growing. As your business starts to scale, just start adding more people into the key roles. You'll find that specific things start to come up. It's different with each person's business based on the skill sets and the promotion that you're using. But you'll find there's usually one or two places where you constantly need more people. Notice and recognize that as soon as possible. Work with your project manager to figure out a process to actually fix that problem and prevent it in the future. That's one of the great things about having someone that is everyone reports to. You easily can talk to one person and figure out all the problems in your organization. And if anyone's worked in corporate America, and I remember I used to work for Discover Card a long time ago, and it was like I had to report to my boss, they had to report to their boss, that person had to report to like a team of people, and then they had to do like approval process, and everything took 6 months to happen. We can find out what's going on and fix it very, very quickly, and that's one of the great things about being an entrepreneur here. Okay, so that's it. I don't think we have time for questions, but